Hello, Sonia. How you doing? 13 Reasons Why. Let's go ahead and take a look. Good job setting up the story itself. I think there's a plenty of information here for even someone who's not familiar with the story to really get some really good feedback to you regarding your choices and how they correspond to the setting of the story itself. So good job here. Okay, so I think that you've done a pretty good job describing the relationship between the visual language that you're establishing in the development of these typefaces and its correspondence to the subject matter of the story itself. So I was quite pleased to read your reasoning behind your sketches. They make sense. Each of them makes really, really good sense. And that's the important thing here. You're understanding this correlation, these ties between research and design, and I'm using that quite often in the feedback videos to students, just trying to reinforce the importance of design research as it relates to any design project. The research is critically important. Otherwise, you risk not making sense. Do you see what I'm saying? So I happen to agree with you. This isn't working. The 13 Reasons Why baseball font concept, I don't think it's working. And the reason is because it's really, really limiting. I mean, it might work for the title, but is it going to work for a poster? Do you see what I'm saying? Is it going to work for other collateral materials associated with the story itself and your promotional renderings therein? So I agree with you. I think that's the least. I think this is the best concept. I think this is a good concept. Execution maybe is a little bit, again, not the most versatile typeface, but again, this is definitely a very good concept development. I think this is your best concept. I think that the kind of mimicking the demeanor of a handwritten note from one high schooler to another, I think that's really, really strong. And I think that since this has to do with those notes, I think it's a really super logical correlation to make between, said note and how that represents the whole story typographically. So I think this is your best solution. Now, moving to your final solution, I think this concept works great, but execution, I don't think it's working. The reason I say that is because you've got all these little embellishments here, and you've got like the little heart and the little curly cues, and it seems like this is something that would be more deliberate than than depicting a handwritten note that might be seen on a note passed from one high schooler to another. Do you see what I'm saying? I think this is just way too contrived. It's too planned out. It seems like a lot of notes are just written quickly. Okay, I'm going to write a note to my buddy and pass it off, or write a note to a girl and pass it off in a hallway. So to write a note with all this kind of intricacies, I just don't think it really makes a whole lot of sense, specifically when developing a concept based on that premise. So what I would say, as I said, the concept is great. Execution, though. For your final submission, what I'd like to do is I'd like to see you try to develop a typeface that is really indicative of handwritten, specifically something written quickly that you would see on a note. And I think that connection between that type of rendering of hand rendered type and its meaning associated with the story, specifically the fact that it has to do with those notes, and those notes are handwritten. I think it's a home run. I do. I think it's just a fantastic approach. But again, execution, I just don't think this fits that conceptual meaning as much as maybe a type of handwritten, almost juvenile type handwritten, quickly written, hand-developed note, right? So I hope that makes sense. If not, let me know. I'll be glad to clarify. But those are my comments moving forward. I'd like to see just that one redone, and concept stays the same. Just kind of redo the execution, redo that typeface to try to make it more indicative of a hand-rendered high school note, type that you would find on a note. Okay. All right. Any questions at all? Please let me know. Thank you.